This is the Living in Clarity podcast. I'm Coach Ratner, and today we have back a special guest, Rabbi Yom Tov Glaser. Rabbi, it's great to see you again.
Shalom Aleichem.
Alechem Shalom. Wow, it's always so exciting to have you on TV, and people love you. You know that?
That people love me?
Yes. I think you're aware of that, but every time I mention your name, oh, Yom Tov, everyone in the world loves you. You're probably one of the most popular rabbis in the world.
Yeah. Probably.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know why. But I also know why.
I would say in the observant Jewish world. I don't know if you're not.
Second world too.
Really? Okay. Why is that?
Two things.
Yeah.
One is that I tell the truth, or at least don't lie. And yes, Jordan Peterson says. But I do tell the truth. And the other is, and people really appreciate that. Mm. And the other thing is, I show myself, it's part of telling the truth, but I show myself fully.
You're vulnerable.
Yeah, fully. Yeah. And the other reason is because I love people. I'm crazy about people.
I'm the same way.
I'm crazy about you. I'm crazy about, I don't think I'd be here if I wasn't crazy about you.
I know, I gotta tell you.
I don't remember where we met, but I remember liking you.
I met you when I came to the essentials classes in Jerusalem.
You were my student?
I'll be honest, it was the Aish conference where I really got to know you. And I remember it was the funniest thing. I came to a class. I don't know if it was Aish conference, I don't know where it was. I think it was in church somewhere. And you had 3 rows of chairs. And everyone sat in the second and third row. No one sat in the first row. And so right before you started your class, you took all the chairs in the front row and you put them in the back. Right?
That's a trick.
That's a very good trick because people don't like to sit in front.
Sure.
Yeah, they like to be
particularly. You ever speak to women's groups?
Sure, of course. Yeah.
So whenever I come in, I'm rarely early, but if I'm early, I tell the organizers, please put another row of seats in the front row.
Right.
And they're like, where are you going to stand? You know, it's too close. And I said, just put. So they put, all the women start filing into the second row.
Yeah.
And then I tell the organizer, I tell them before, I said, as soon as I'm about to start, remove all the first check.
That's a good trick.
Yeah,
the problem is people are when they know your stuff and they love you, they're happy to sit in front. But they're unsure that they're going to get hear the truth about themselves. And people don't want to hear the truth sometimes. Mm. And that's why they love you so much, because after they've heard you a few times, like, you know what? He's MS. He's the truth. And it's their soul. It's their soul. You know?
Yeah. You know, I wonder sometimes about communities that can't get beyond my look.
What look? What look?
This look is because I aligned myself with a community that I felt were going to win the race. And for me, when I became observant and left the channel changing world.
Yeah, I know.
Every 20 years, it's the tie goes fat, the tie goes thin, the tie goes fat, the tie goes thin. It's like a great story I heard was that there was actually apparently a true story that there were a tour group went to the Kotel, and in that tour group one was a historian, and when they get to the Kotel, so there's a group that looked just like me, like this,
praying, sure,
yeah, and there was a guy in the tour group who's like videoing and laughing while he's videoing and laughing, and the historian comes out and says, "What's so funny?" And he says, "Just look at these penguins."
Yeah.
And the guy says, "You're laughing at them; they're laughing at you, because you're like a television program. You ever shot through all the channels?"
Yeah, sure. I've tried that.
You know,
I didn't know I was doing it until I started learning Torah. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? But 2 hours later, you ever watched the TV show? And if I watched the show, it was like stupid. Like the reason why people like to watch TV and like the shows, because they don't have to think.
Yeah,
they're not living a conscious life.
Well, they also don't have to live their own life, which is status, and that's the news feeds. Like, watch someone else's life. I always tell men, I believe the same thing about women, but I always tell men, you're not allowed to flip through shorts and news feeds and know about people's lives. And they're like, why not? I said, because men post. Have you ever seen a male dog walk by a lamppost?
they want to go to the bathroom.
Well, I don't think they necessarily want to them. They might even just leave a drop or two, but they're
triggered. They're triggered.
They're dropping territory move. They're posting.
Yeah. Oh, I see. That's how they post their social media.
Post.
Yeah.
But it's not good for a male to be watching other people's lives.
Anybody.
Yeah. I don't think it's very good for the women either. But.
No, it's not good for anybody. It's not good. It also is causes people to have low self-esteem, because when you see the successes of other people, how they're doing,
and bodies,
and especially their bodies, and how they, you don't see fat people posting, not heavy people posting all the time, like their body shape, because they're embarrassed or they're not proud of it. People who are beautiful posting, and like, how come I don't have that? And you just feel bad about yourself, and it becomes this constant treadmill of you feeling worse and worse and worse. I mean, on social media.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's get.
What do you want to talk about?
Let's get back to why people love you so much.
Why?
You said you started to say because you're vulnerable and you tell the truth.
And I love people.
And you love people. How is it about loving people who are obnoxious or rude or
the way favorite people?
Right. So how, and that's
the whole show. Every time you're gonna watch.
Every time I walk down like Benny Street, I was in America, walk down like, in Miami, you see a guy with like 6 earrings in his ear and like the tattoos and the septum nose ring. I'm like, this guy should come to my class. That's the guy I want to get in front of and teach, right?
Yeah. I tell you, the more unique someone is, the more they're giving you to love, and some of that stuff is pretty sad. You start to get to people who it's pretty obvious that they don't really love themselves, and they're kind of
getting back at their parents,
getting back into the society, and they're wearing their pain
the world
on the outside, whether it be in the clothing, whether it be in the, even on my way here, I beamed at a very sad-looking guy with a big headset on and a hoodie, and beamed my love to him as I walked by him. He didn't know what to do with that. Exactly. He was not ready.
I think the reason why you and I love people, and we want to help people, we want to teach people, we want them to do great, we want them to reach potential in life, because we judge everyone to the good. We judge everyone like that because each person has so much potential in life, and they're not reaching their potential in life. I think we have this kind of like conscious idea that we want to help them to become better people and reach their potential in all aspects, not just for me. For you, it's about personal growth and their emotional state, their intellectual state. For me, it's more everything: relationships, dating, marriage. Because the happier you are as a person, you love yourself, the better your relationship is going to be, because the more you'll be open to love other people.
Yeah. Waited.
Well, I wasn't going to ask you. I want you to tell me about your seminars, what you talked about in your seminar.
It's something so important to say.
I know, it's okay.
On that subject, but
it's all right.
I was busy listening to you.
I'm sorry. I do talk a lot.
What were you saying about?
I was asking you about your seminar. I've never been to your seminar. I want to know what's involved in them.
Never did.
You know that? What? I've you a lot. No, I have not been.
Yeah.
I'm writing all the time.
We have close to 14,000 graduates.
That's a lot of graduates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
14,000.
Yeah.
How big are your class sizes?
Anyway, 20 and 40.
How do you get to 14,000?
Well, they're running all over the world with 5 branches.
Oh, you're not the only one teaching it.
And
it's called the possible use.
The possible use.
And then Google that. They can Google that.
Oh yeah. And I suggest watching an intro, and being alone and bringing tissue. It's like watch.
Should I teach that?
The possible you intro. You could lead possible yous. I think you could.
I have a lot of content.
Well, this is its own little thing.
I know.
It's a encapsulated reality. It's basically psychedelics.
Oh, we do psychedelics?
You don't ingest anything. But right now, the most popular therapies out there are psychedelic oriented.
Okay.
Or no psychedelic itself, meaning you do ingest something, and possibly you don't have to ingest anything, which makes it much easier entry.
Do people do ingest things to go to the seminars?
No.
You don't want people to ingest.
In fact, it's forbidden to have any mind-altering substance during those days. You know, it's 4 days,
Okay.
non-work hours, and it's like 4 nights.
Right.
And it's a trip. I mean, it's a trip. You have no idea who you are by day 3. You're completely, blank slated by.
And who wrote the book class? You did?
I created it.
Yeah.
It's been a journey, it's an evolving thing. I've got it going for 23 years now. And it's wild, it's really wild. And the amazing thing is that losing all sense of identity is the only place to finally shine.
Sure.
Because so much of our identity is not who we are, so much of it. And so little of who we are is what we think is what we see as our identity.
I like using analogies in my teachings. And what you're describing to me is like a raw diamond. That a diamond has all these carbon in it and irregularities, and it needs to be cut in such a way to allow the light to enter like a diamond, freedom of diamond, and that brilliance will then shine back out to the world. Yeah, I feel like when we go to your seminar, which I guess I'm going to go to, and by day 3, I lost all that carbon and all the irregularities. Now I'm then just basically a piece of
Diamond,
a pure diamond.
Yeah.
And now I have to shape it. I guess day 4 into a.
Yeah, day 4 is like, how exactly do you want to have this shine out to the world? Like, how would you like to create that? And not forever. How would you like to create it for the next 15 minutes in a business meeting? Or how would you like to create it when you have to call your kid's principal? Or what do you want the diamond to shine if you're going to do the next 10 minutes of prayer?
Of course.
So it's because once you're nobody, you're anybody. And that's...
I'm Batman.
But that's why it's called the possible you.
Which is about to be anything, right?
Exactly. And what's the inference? What's the opposite of the possible you? Is the predictable you. The predictable you is the identity that you've been pushing forward, even though so much of it you don't even like.
No, it's done by society. It's done by you.
But it's anything to not be nobody, when in fact nobody is the goal.
Because once you're nobody, then you become possibly anybody.
Yeah, it's pure possibility. And then anybody comes up. And once you're anybody, you
choose what you want to be.
You can definitely choose what you want to be, but there's not just that. There's 4 levels of being that are available.
Okay.
The first level is the soul. And that's that's so much, because what is vivifying your body right now if not the soul? But that once you realize you're a soul, think about all the adjectives that come from it. First of all, God clearly wanted you here, because once you have a soul, that means you're
God-given.
Yeah, it's God.
That means you're not a random creation that happened by accident.
Right.
But you're created for a purpose.
And how many people are walking around feeling unwanted?
Of course.
But here you're wanted. Okay. God also, if you didn't notice, is orchestrating your entire life as if you're the only person on earth, and you're the only person on earth with free will, because he's orchestrating the world around you.
Sure.
So, which means no one else seems to have free will, even though they think they're getting orchestrated around them.
Sure.
It's a crazy world we live in, where everyone's the star of the stage.
Everyone's
the star of the movie.
Sure.
Sadly, so many people are playing extras in other people's movies, when really you're the star.
That's why they have to basically become nobody on the 3rd day.
Right.
I definitely need to, because right now they're becoming someone that's not them. That's someone that they were inspired just by whatever they hear on radio, TV.
It was copy-paste.
Copy-paste from somebody else.
Yeah.
And they decide this is what I want to be, but they haven't decided who they really want to be.
Right.
Because they're not able to be nobody yet. Once they become nobody, then they can say, this is what I really want to be. Not decided by the news, not decided by Hollywood, not decided by politics, decided by what's good for me inside.
But that first step of the soul isn't just who I want to be, it's who I am.
Oh, yeah.
Meaning the later step 4 of the being is who I want to be. You're jumping to step 4.
I'm sorry, that's me.
The possible you is really the stage 4 being. Wait one second.
It's like when I have a stain on a shirt and my wife just wants to spray on the spot remover. I'm like, just wash the whole darn shirt. It's spot remover. And you don't have to worry about it. Like,
We'll wash it all with spot.
right. I would say, like, you know, when I teach students at foundations, I say, people are going to say you've gotten brainwashed when you come to Asia Torah or come to Jerusalem. And I say, they're completely correct because your brain needs washing, right? It's true. They haven't chosen what's going on in the brain. At least the diamond comes out of the ground. It's natural with all that carbon and irregularity. But like when you're listening to watching movies and news and you have no idea what's going on in your brain, it's full of schmutz.
I was teaching a group of British people who sometimes lack intellectual confidence. No offense if you're British. So this girl raised her hand in the back of the room and she said, Rabbi, how do we know you're not brainwashing us? And I said, first, let's see if you have a brain. I will talk about washing it. Anyway, but what you had described before with the copy paste is the source of loneliness. People are deeply lonely. And the source of loneliness is if I copy paste who I am from what I saw around me, my parents, teachers, friends, peers, anyone, television, internet. If I copy paste that and you like me, it's not what you like. It's not me. And that's the real source of loneliness. Because think about it, people are so lonely. The reason they're lonely is because they've never shined their light, which is what I was saying is I shine my light, and that's why people love me, is that, but it's me they love.
Yeah.
So what my advice to people is shine your light so strong, like really put yourself so strongly out there, so much so that people run away. And whoever stays are the people who actually love you and watch your loneliness run away. And you want to know something? They're not even going to run away. They're going to run towards you because everyone's starving.
Sure.
For someone who's truly themselves.
The ones that run away have cognitive dissonance and don't want to know the truth. And they're afraid of it, and they're afraid of being someone. And because when you
they're not going to run away. They're run towards you.
These four levels take
desperate.
These four levels take work, I'm sure. So you said the first.
So first level is the soul. The second level is the beautiful child in you. Everyone has a beautiful child inside. They like look at you. Everyone look at the camera over there. We clearly have different children inside of us. Our children are clearly shining.
Oh yeah.
But I have a child in me that's this little, my English name's Johnny. My Hebrew name's Yom Tov, which means holiday too. It's Johnny Holiday. So that Johnny, he's dangerous too. He'll play tricks. Yeah. He's a crazy kid and he wants to go mountain biking and I take him mountain biking. Mm-hmm. And I took him yesterday. I took him surfing.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. And
Herzliya, where'd you go?
And yesterday I went to Ashdod. Yeah. I like to hear bombs when I surf. So that was maybe not a good joke, but when you're surfing Ashdod, you hear bombs.
Yeah. And did you actually hear them yesterday?
No, it's very quiet in the northern Gaza.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had no mountains, but I've been out.
But I was out
this winter with
yesterday, Ashkelon had a number of air sirens.
Seriously?
Yeah, I think it was 3 yesterday. There's not many, not like it was, but still crazy that they're still able to get rocket off. It's off topic.
Very off topic. Okay, so back to us. It is where we at?
We got the first level is the soul.
Now, yes, there's the beautiful child. Yeah, go take a kindergarten teacher. She's dealing with her 20, 30 absolute individuals. There's nothing uniform. There's no overlap.
No.
And that's in you. Yeah. That's your beautiful child.
I used to date kindergarten teachers. And they're a different breed. They're not really for me. I like 7th grade teachers on 3rd year. They were, I got married for now 22 years. I'm very happy about this. They have a different mindset in life. They're different kind of people, and it's almost, I just say they almost themselves are a little childish sometimes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the third level is of the being is one's what we call in Hebrew kochos and nefesh, but it's what I call your divine factory settings. Okay. Every person has divine factory settings, and the way it works is you're either a 1, 2, or 3. Well, they're all eyes. They call them the 3 eyes. Okay. Yeah, your divine factory settings. The I here is intellectual. They love books. They love Google. They love, here's people that interpersonals. I call them all eyes. Interpersonals. Okay. And I don't like to call them emotional because they're not necessarily such emotional people, but boy, do they love people.
Yeah.
I'm obviously that too.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there's 3s are instinctuals and they love stuff. You know, they love physical, sensory. They love food. They love the sauna. They love the yoga. They love money. You know, nice cars. You know, they love delicious foods. They're sensory people. Anyway, these are divine factory settings of the number 3 of being, which is you're either a 1, 2, or 3. I'm a 2, 3, 1, by the way. You're all 3. You got to list them. So I'm a 2, 3, 1.
Okay.
You are a 2 for sure. So I think you might be a 2, 1, 3.
Okay.
I think you're a 2, 1.
I used to be 2, 3, 1. I'm at a Porsche, but that was one time.
Are you into sports? Are you into?
I used to.
Do you go to sauna?
I used to watch all the wrestling. I used to be an avid. I've talked about this. Avid football fan.
So you're a 2, 3, 1, probably.
But wait, you
watch football or do it?
I did both. I not professionally. I used to play touch football all the time. But now I don't watch anything. I don't watch Super Bowl. I don't watch anything.
Touch football.
You tackle a little. Tackling little. Then you get to be like 20, 30 minutes. I thought it.
I was a running back for 5 years.
Yeah, no, I don't care about the stuff anymore. Like I don't care about the. I don't.
Okay, then you're not a 2. You're a 2, 1, 3. You're a 2.
I don't have a car. I've had a car for 4.5 years.
Do you look at books and research and stuff like that? You're a 2, 1, 3.
Yeah, I'm a 2, 1, 3.
I'm a 2, 3, 1. My perfect world is I'm with a bunch of people in a sauna talking about the meaning of life.
That sounds like a lot of
2,
fun.
3, 1.
That's for me though. I like
Well,
that.
maybe you are 2, 3.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's your divine factor settings. And there's another thing you need to know. It's not just whether you're 1, 2, or 3. It's with your flow on the right or structure on the left. Everyone's flow or structure. And they know that in the retail world. For example, you go to Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah.
They're going to have every, you know, you go to the bed sheets, for example.
You have to walk the whole store to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while you walk through, and I was even in a place where on the left side was structure stuff, where it was the bed sheets with the pinstripes, like the Westin Hotel.
Sure.
You know, and then there were the floral sheets on the right side for all the flow people.
Like at bed and breakfasts.
And you know, and you go to the plates, and like the flow is like also is be like China with a beautiful embossed, you know, floral thing. Whereas the structure, you got like a triangular dessert plate.
Sure.
Like I look at that, I have I go into anxiety attack. I need flow. I'm a flow meister. Anyway, but that's being of number 3. What we were talking about before is being number 4. Being number 4 is what I call the to be a shapeshifter. Meaning, okay, now I'm sitting in the flight and I see someone needs help getting their stuff in the overhead. Who I am is helpful. Now I'm going to keep going to my kid's principal because my kid's busted, which means you're busted. No, that principle works for me. And I walk into the principal and I come in with a vibration of the boss. And they immediately like start doing backflips for my kid. And so now I'm going to a business meeting. And who I am is confident. And I mean, I can create anything. Now I'm going to prayer. Who I am is holy. Now I'm going to study Torah. Who I am is a humble student.
Yeah.
And I just keep creating as I go throughout the day. So now I'm walking down the street. Who I am is friendly. And I beam at everyone I walk by. And I just keep going as it goes. And that's step 4. You would love that step. But that's the 4th step. The shapeshifter. The shapeshifter is it's the healing in
Who am I, right?
Where am I? Whoever, and the mantra we use is, whoever God calls me into being, I am. Because God's creating, remember, God's orchestrating your life around you.
Sure.
And as he's orchestrating your life around you, he's constantly calling you into situations. In each situation, you can create a state of being that will perfectly mate with that situation. And then there's no more anxiety, there's no more stress. Because, okay, let's say you got to make a wedding. Well, who do I got to be who do I have to be to do that with peace of mind?
Just be an organizer.
And yeah, organizer or whatever else comes up. But it's not attacking you anymore.
No.
I'm creating the being as I go into the doing.
Yeah, well, you make steps, just like you make steps. Those 4 steps. You make steps to if you're planning a wedding. This is what I have to have. I do one step at a time, and you focus on one at a time until you get it done.
Right.
Put it in the order of importance. You know.
Sure.
So we have 4 steps. The first being the soul.
These are the 4 levels, I call them.
4 levels to what?
A being.
A being.
Yeah, these are what are underneath it all.
And number 2 is the inner child.
And number 1 was the soul. Number 2 is the I call it the beautiful. You can call it being.
I like inner child in there. Because all children are beautiful. It's going to knock to what, and they're all beautiful.
They're all inner. inside of us.
Right, but they're inside of us now. It makes you addicted. And then number 3 is what would you call them, the flow or
It's the divine factory settings, which are one, 2, or 3: intellect, interpersonal, or instinctual. The third eye is called instinctual.
Sure.
And so you figure out what's your order, and then you figure out whether you're flow or structure. And there are rare individuals for both flow and structure. They're always in managerial positions.
And this is the
And then number 4 was the
shapeshifter.
shapeshifter. Is whoever God calls me into being, I am.
Is this the basis of the seminar?
Not at all.
I mean, it's part of it though.
It's the end.
But this is the end.
I mean, once you finally get to, I have no idea who I am anymore. I don't even care, because whatever, all that identity was just causing me stress of having to constantly defend it and having to somehow put it forward in situations that were constantly testing it. I'm done with it. I'm done. I'm free.
The first 3 days are.
What?
I'm dying to know what the first 3 days are.
They're not simple, I'll tell you that.
I've heard people crying on the ground. Not from you. From other people have gone. They go, people are crying on the ground.
Okay, but
Is that true?
It's pitch black if that's happening, so I don't know if it's happening.
Okay.
It's pitch black. No one knows who's the guy who's crying on the ground.
I see.
But there are people who've lost completely lost it, which is fine. We're built for that.
Yeah.
You know, we give you the safe space that you can let it all go up to that level of literally flopping around like a fish out of water. There's music overlaid it the whole time, and so you can't exactly know. You don't exactly know what's going on. You don't even know it was the guy next to you. You don't even remember who was next to you. Actually,
I know this from the content.
It's very intense. But one thing is important is that we do screen for psychological well-being. You have to be healthy and normal.
Sure.
In there. Anyone with anything like bipolar, schizophrenic, any psychotic things, any even genetic, that's not
It's why a lot of these trips to come to Israel, these spiritual trips, to have guys like you speaking and different ones.
We've had people freak.
And they're people freak out. And they freak out, and then they get.
I shouldn't be laughing, but
it's
some crazy stories.
They do the crazy stories, and they have to go home, and they can't keep them shit because they're ruining the trip for everybody else.
Yeah. Oh, there's another idea though. I mean, another option besides sending them back to America.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Or they get Jerusalem syndrome. You've heard
Jerusalem is for Christians.
Is that what he has?
Jews don't. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Send them to the northern city. It's fun. You see, in every society, there are eccentric people, but put eccentric people in a spot,
yeah,
they're no longer eccentric.
Yeah. Rabbi, it's been amazing talking to you. We've actually run out of time. I'm sorry. It was a lot of fun. This was a lot of fun to talk about the Powerful You seminar and the 4 levels of being.
Yeah, and people can join them. The seminar is going on all around.
I got to tell you, I think that we need, after this podcast, we need to talk about putting me up there. I think this is something we'd like to do. I would love it. I need more men leaders. And I'm passionate, and I can talk afterwards. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Rabbi Yom Tov Glaser. Wow, what an amazing guy. We're going to get you again, obviously, when we can, when you're in town. And this is Coach Ratner, and thanks for listening to the Living and Clarity podcast. We'll see you next time.